Hey everybody, happy Saturday. I hope that your Saturday has been nothing but absolutely beautiful and has given you nothing but reasons to smile. And if you haven't found that smile or that reason to laugh today, again, here's a guarantee that by the time I'm done, I will have said something goofy or I would have messed up something intelligent or whatever, and you will have laughed by the time you leave here today. So, I hope that you all had a good day though. I've been busy. I would say that the new year has really been, in the most amazing way, busy. Not in just a busy to be busy way or not with things that I don't want. I've actually been able to, this year's been beautiful. Like I already feel like it's the 6th or something because of how much I've been doing, and in a good way, and towards all the things that I'm trying to do. And it's just an amazing feeling. So I hope that this year's been bringing you something that makes you feel that way too. Maybe you've been working on a new project or a new part of you or something like that. Hi Tyson, hi Pamela, hi Walter. So we'll start like we usually do. Maybe I'll give a few words back here, and then we'll go into, I will warn you, what I am here to talk about today is a little bit deep. And so if you're not really into deep understandings, and it may not be your flavor today. But if you're really wanting to learn something interesting, I do give you a little look into my personal life and how I changed my mind about where I came from, who I am, what my next move is, and how I flipped from that poor girl who was from torn and battered background into who I am today. So in the event that you want to stick with me, it's going to be deep and it's going to be interesting, but I want to share with you my realness because it'll help you understand why I'm so positive and why I see such a bright future for everybody. And so I will give you some of that why. But really quick, never put the key to your happiness in somebody else's pocket. Tom Ziegler. I never lose. Either I win or I learn. And I believe that was Muhammad. Or no, but anyway, his name's not on there, but I'll get it. It'll click here in a minute. Do I not destroy my enemies when I make them my friends? Abraham Lincoln. In the end, we only regret the chances we didn't take. And that is so true. And that's going to be part of what I'm telling you today. The problem is not the problem. The problem is your attitude about the problem. Captain Jack Sparrow. Well, I don't know any better place to leave that than there, being is that what I'm about to tell you is that is exactly what we're going to talk about tonight. I promise you, I didn't even have that page marked. But that's how it gets. Things get into alignment and you stay on a good frequency and a good vibration, and then things just happen to flow. You get in sync, and boy, is it nice. I have been promising to show you my vision board. I have two. I have one that is just writing and it says like the year on it. I'll bring that one tomorrow. But today I want to show you the one because I fully and firmly believe in our ability to remember things in pictures better than we do words. And I took this awesome class with some of the people that I collaborate with. And I sat in and I came out with this beautiful, stunning picture of all the things that I'm believing for in 2021. There's travel, there's my publishing contract, there's my favorite bedroom, there's all my speaking opportunities. Yeah, baby, there goes my back and, making sure I'm fit. Family, unity, all these things. So I'm showing you this because this thing works. I can't expose everything that I'm about to tell you right now, but I am saying just remember this video and just remember what I showed you, and so I can explain to you just how quick the universe responds to your complete openness and positivity and belief. So first, let's start with the boring part because I want to get us on the same page. I'm going to go over 3 definitions. One is truth. It's a noun. The quality or state of being true. That which is true or in accordance with fact or reality. A fact or belief that is accepted as true. Stay with me. The next one is belief, a noun. An acceptance that is true or that something exists. Acceptance, okay, that's belief. And 2 for belief is trust, faith, or confidence in someone or something. The last word I want to help define for you is acceptance. And it is also a noun, the action of consenting to receive or undertake something offered. And the second definition, the action or process of being received as adequate or suitable, typically to be admitted into a group. Now, what is your truth? What is your belief? And what have you accepted about yourself? I don't know that I know me personally, I haven't really looked into these words. Hi, Greg. Hey, Walter. Hi, Will. I haven't looked into these words and understood just what they mean. I thought truth was, anyway, these words are basically on your acceptance of what you feel is true, what your belief about them is, and that is key. You got to understand that. Hi, Sarah. And so, and what are you accepting for yourself? What are you really, really accepting for yourself? Have you ever been curious as to why you don't seem to win? Maybe you feel like your family was born to just suffer, or you come from a family line of only workers, but you don't win. Like you weren't qualified to be the millionaire family, or you weren't. That's just not what you guys did. You guys were just the happy middle class, or the just surviving low class, or maybe you were the rich class, but you had a poor mentality, or whatever it was. When I talk about poor, I don't talk about the finance. I talk about the broken personality, or broken person, or broken situation. You can be rich and still be poor. I mean, you got to understand that. What are some of the answers that you had given yourself? Did you just accept it? Hey, Tyrone, did you just accept it? Did you say, nah, that's just who we are? We just, we deal with what we got, At what point did you accept where you stood because of everybody before you? I'm talking about generations. I'm talking about lineage. One of the things that really hit me hard yesterday was when I was watching Don Green, who's one of the last living co-founders of the Napoleon Hill Foundation. I was in a meeting with him and some others, and he said, don't just leave your legacy, live your legacy. And that hit home because I think about it and I'm like, we practice so hard to basically leave a story instead of live a story. It's kind of interesting. Hi, Clint. Hi, Freddie. So anyone ever feel like you're just born in a family that wasn't supposed to have things or whatever? I get it. I do. I'm saying that I understand when you don't find reason to see past where you're at because it's what you've always seen. And that when you get just one step ahead of where the generation behind you was, you go, well, this is as far as I go. Instead of saying, I can be limitless. I can go and be and do and have whatever it is that I believe is my truth. Whatever I believe I am accepting for myself as truth. And so I want to read you a small part of my book. And it's one of the newer parts that I added this last year. And it's a little bit personal. But I'm sharing it with you because it's when I got my aha moment. It's when I realized, like, I am not just hi Lynn, I am not just who I come from. I am me. I am not just the troubles that have been carried. I am me. I am not just the problems that have succeeded through the line to get me. I am me. I can be my solution. I can be my solution. So stay with me. It's a story. I hope you'll stay through it. It's not long. I promise it gets interesting. So stick with me. Pamela, I am so proud of you. Really quick before I start, Pamela is at her 81 days sober. I believe in you, Pamela. I've always believed in you. I am proud of you. Stick to it. Life is about to show up for you. And I know it's hard. But, and I meant that because I know sometimes when you are in something like what she was dealing with, you have a tendency to be able to hide from reality. And then when you remove that mask and you have to deal with reality, it's really hard to keep going forward. So I'm proud of you, Pamela. Okay, so here we go. You ready? It dawned on me one evening that the biggest part of my misery was because I was choosing not to fail. Sounds crazy, but it's the honest truth. I know you've heard many say you must fail to succeed, but it wasn't the same thing. It wasn't about having the gumption to try things and fail and repeat and have the courage to get up. I mean, I needed to straight up fail. I mean, to no resurface. Yes, I understand. It may sound a bit off and you're wondering if I have lost all my marbles. And to be honest, maybe I have. Take my hand and come with me to see what I found that led me to this burning desire to fail. If you can see the same thing going on in your life, then maybe you need to fail too. Life was sputtering along for me. Ups and downs, wins and losses, happy and sad, the norm. Then one evening, as I sat by the fire, I noticed my shadow there next to me, perfectly outlined. And then that's when I saw her. The her that was in my great-grandmother, the her that was in my grandmother, the her that was in my mother, and the her that was in me. I was looking at situations that ran down through the family and all the scenarios that kept on repeating. The same mentality, the same abuse, the same patterns, the same brokenness, the same lifestyles, the same health conditions, the same everything. Yet I thought I was truly different. I wasn't. I was simply the newest version of the same issues. Basically the same book with an updated cover. That is when I knew that time for me to fail had come. I had become the very problem they never solved. My family may resent me for reading this and writing this, but I will resent me if I don't. Because I know someone else is sitting there next to a fire beside a shadow of their own that they feel a stranger to. Let me make this clear though. This is not to put blame in any respect to my family, but I must fail. I have to. I look at my tendencies, my preferences, my emotional development, choices, situation, and outlook, and I'm saying right now, I'm done. I am ready to fail at being what my family has been. I'm done. I quit. They say quitting is failing. I'll take that. I'll take this loss. I'm ready to fail. I look at my financial paradigm, my eating off crumbs is enough attitude, the look down the family line and everyone is still feeling like eating off the crumbs is just enough for them too. It is almost like the word rich or well off or wealthy is just a downright sin. There is not one thing my family has to show for in a financial sense except scars, hurt, misery, sadness, regret, judgment, resentment, and feeling not worthy of riches. All the keys that will help you miss opportunities and to keep you living in the lack. I look at failed marriages, I look at relationships, and guess what? They started from the very beginning on down that line. I followed suit. I look at poor eating habits I had, weight problems I had, the illnesses, and I look down the line and guess what? They're there, waiting to attach to the next generation. Heart attacks killing family members off before 65, some even in their 40s. Depression, anxiety, obesity, heart disease, poverty, same food, same mindset, same results, fitness and wealth and positive thinking, they weren't a part of my family. Obesity is almost in every household, at least by one in my family. And the motto is, we are supposed to pretend that we're happy while being miserable inside, then become trapped in a body that we can't stand. I need to fail. There is a line of addiction that runs in my family. Not just an addiction to drugs, but addiction to misery, self-abuse, giving ourselves away, false obligation, addiction to anything that allows willful blindness into the best life. Chasing escapes of reality and running far away from looking at self was the way. The addiction to self-sabotage is probably the worst one yet. Run to security. Don't take chances. Don't you dare say you want some big dream or you'll get laughed at and then you'll be selfish and unrealistic. Great things aren't designed for people like us. Stay programmed. Stay the way that you can be. Every branch of my family had so much broken in it that we started to look at that as normal. Not now. I'm choosing to fail. We will also become crutches for our children, unfortunately, ensuring they would be not able to blossom into their true independence without our help. If we weren't there and weren't needed, we felt alone or rejected from our own kids. We wanted them comatose into dependency so that we could ensure their lack of development. I wanted to cry when I realized this. I knew it was time for me to fail. The thing is that poverty has a way of pushing kids out the door due to discomfort. And we were poor in every sense of the word. And the worst of all of the types of poor, we were more emotionally poor. We were in lack of love. So now you have an abused, addicted, poor, and poorly conditioned kid going into the world, and then they add their own personal issues to their own inherited issues. Surely a setup for struggle in every sense of the word and in every way possible. Then it was like telling the story of whose life is worse. It goes on and on. Well, this did it for me. The one that almost got away from us was our hiding behind what we would call helping. The disappearing behind us being a servant, our out for not becoming, our reason for staying stagnant or not taking chances or following our own dreams, or feeling like we weren't worth fighting for ourselves as an individual, as our own identity, as someone who actually existed and mattered. I think about my great-grandmother who worked for her family. They loved her and they appreciated her for all she did. Her whole life she gave serving others. I believe they even sent candy home with her on the holidays for family. Sad enough, my nanny gave them most of her, and she could only give us what she had left. Even though she had very little left, don't get it wrong, it was still special. She did things like no other. Over the years, she had served her way into back pain, hip pain, and never complained. She just slowly dissolved. Quietly and peacefully dissolved into everyone's needs. I can't even tell you one of her dreams or something that she really even ever wanted. She was so busy serving others that she always forgot herself. That carried on to my grandmother, who also spent her life serving and caring for others in their homes. And when she got home, she was spent. And I mean spent. Her walk from the car door was that of someone who was empty and ready for bed and seeking rest. She would come through the door, arms dangling and heavy eyes, no smile in sight. She would walk through the door slowly and remove the strap of her purse off her shoulders, and you could see the weight of the day and how it left its indent on her. She would next go for her recliner, and there she would go to nod off and regain energy. She gave her job everything she had. We didn't get her. We got what was left of her. She too felt she should have no more than she did, because she was thankful that the Lord had given her what was there and didn't think it was right to ask for anything more. Not only did she care for her kids, her employer, but now a part of her life was committing to helping her broken and misplaced grandkids. We weren't easy to add to her equation. We were confused, from broken parents coming from home to and going from home to home in bad living situations. There were no 2 days the same. My mother died when I was 6. So in all fairness, I can't say all her sacrifices had a chance to equal up to those aforementioned. But I will say, however, that in every story I have heard of her in her life, they mention her as someone who wore her heart on her sleeve and would give you the shirt off her back. So I feel confident in saying, and in making the assumption, that she too would have given herself away for the purpose of helping another. Then I looked at myself. Could I be the same as her? I needed to fail. There I was, trying to take the weight of the world on my shoulder from my employers. I would stay up late hours treating a job as if it was my life. As if I owed something. I worked 10 to 12 hours plus an hour drive, then go home and try to be the best for my kids, plus the kids that I was blessed enough to have come into my life. I would always put my full heart into whatever I did for others, but never for what I was created to do. I sought the safety that I was taught. I acted in the selflessness that I had seen. I had never heard of greatness within, or you were born to win, or you can do more than what you think. Nope, I was just that hamster on the wheel. Which in truth, there is no safety in putting our life in someone else's pocket, and there is not a single system that is built on what's right, but instead for rules and judgment or gain. Then I looked harder at myself about this hiding myself in service and looked at my relationships with men. I realized I thought I was supposed to serve them too. Pretty much to a point where I didn't know how to be in a relationship without being involved to the totality of my person. I felt as if cooking and cleaning and organizing and preparing or reminding or helping, if I didn't do those things, then, well, perhaps I would be fired. I thought that we should spend the totality of our time always together because I was afraid of losing my position. Wow, I am so glad that I'm choosing to fail. Now let me put this out there for the record's sake. I am not saying that you should not be loving and accommodating in life or to the people that you love. I am saying do not paralyze yourself in taking care of other people. Believe it or not, men are survivors too. They can figure out things at times. Be loving. Just don't be absent from yourself. Learn that it is perfectly okay to still be yourself as you are without feeling the need to lose your own identity when in a relationship or when in your life. I wasn't sure how to do this. I wasn't raised around relationships. I came from a line of codependent, broken, fearful, poor people, broken systems, girls' homes, other homes, and even in the streets at times. If the woman in my life felt they didn't have something to manage, boss around, figure out, or serve, they were miserable. And they disintegrated as a person. I too was on my way to that disintegration. But I'm choosing to fail. When my grandmother passed, I was so hurt for many reasons. One of those reasons was for the first time in her life, she owned her home. She owned a home. No more government housing, but an actual home with an address, not an apartment number with a bunch of letters. She spent very little time in that house before she passed. Very little time. It hurt me to the core that she had spent her whole life giving herself away and never enjoying a life being herself as she lived. She never had anything left, not even a desire for herself by the end. She had lost her ability to dream. And some would say, oh, that's such a great servant. That's such a great sacrifice. Such a loving saint. I don't know any saint that should live their life as a prisoner kept away from their purpose. Not a one. I can't even imagine the feeling of a caged bird that she must have felt day after day, night after night, allowing her dreams to fade in the background. My grandma had dreams that died behind her, behind a filter called helping. It was more like hiding and not feeling guilty about it, calling it her acts of service. The truth was she couldn't forgive herself for some of the choices she made in life. She faulted herself unnecessarily. The voices of guilt, shame, abandonment, heartbreak, and pain wouldn't let her be. She couldn't get past some of the haunting voices that were in her mind. I know this because I seen her cries. I heard her cries. And most of all, I felt those same cries. She carried these things to her grave, so I'm choosing to fail. I'm not placing blame. I'm only speaking truths. You see, time changed, but we didn't. With all my heart, I don't believe it was because we had a pride issue, but it was a fear issue. The fear of not being enough and the possibility of being replaced. The proof is in looking down the generational line, and I'm choosing to fail. It was only in the work of finding my true self that I discovered that I needed to fail. I had no clue that I was the very person that I have watched suffer. I had no clue that I was passing on stale bread to my children. I had no clue that all I had to do was fail. Fail at being scared. Fail at being absent. Fail at being hidden behind people and things. Fail at accepting only the crumbs of life. Fail at not being happy. Fail at not being my family. I do not put blame on any person for anything in my life. Get that clear. But I do take full responsibility for failing. My family, who I have come to learn in different sections over time in my life, are not responsible for what they have generationally given me. And as they too have had that passed down to them. I understand that it is so easy to just follow the leader in life and to go with the flow, to fall in line with what you have seen and what you have heard. I get it. I am, however, thankful for choice, ability, desire, growth, strength, newness, God, love, courage, and for every moment that I choose to fail at being what I have always known. To fail at what was not my mess to clean up, but to learn from and surpass and be better. God is so good. I hope that my family will be a testimony and my story will be a testimony for those trapped unknowingly under a generational curse. That you will have the courage to step back and to wake up and though it is not their fault, but give back that generational baggage, to toss it, to burn it, and to never let it live again. There is hope, and you will and you can fail too at being what you've known. It is never too late. Make today the day to fail so that you can start living the life that you were destined to live. So that's it. Thank you for sticking with me. That is a chapter. So I want to make this clear again for whoever came into this video. I do not fault my family. I do not fault my past. I use those lessons as saying, how can I be better? How can we be better? How can the next generation be better? Because I've learned that a lot of that brokenness that I've seen in me was literally all through the line. And when you become truthful with yourself and you understand that and you see that, you're reminded that you are in total control of what you feel and that you can change the very things that make you put yourself in the position that you're in now. you can. I don't know a better way to tell you how beautiful you are other than to say, believe. Believe. Just believe. Like I said, tonight was going to get deep, and so let me not turn into a big baby on you, but I am so full of joy and love, and you see all this hurt out there, and you go, you just got to see more than what you're seeing in front of you. Go make that dream board. Go make that vision board. Go and feel and touch and be inspired by a life that you can have, instead of holding on to this continued version of brokenness and suffering or whatever it is. You have a choice to fail at that. You have a choice to fail at everything that has limited you this far. Do it. God bless you guys. Have a good night. And man, this is brand new year. And if you're having the same thoughts and doing the same things, well, like I said last night, you might as well pull 2020 on over on the trailer hitch and bring it on in, because that's what you're going to get. But you don't have to go there, and you know that. Have a new year. God bless you. And remember to tell yourself at least 2 times a day, I can, I will, and I am so worth it. Yes, you are. God bless you. Have a good